welcome to the Huddle Roundtable. And before I actually get going, because I had some technical difficulties on the first show that I did, I just want to make sure that we're able to hear. So those of you in the super chat, if you can let me know that you can hear me, you're going to be able to hear the guys when I bring them on. I just want to make sure. So just making sure that from a test run standpoint, that you're able to hear what's happening out there. So, all right, I see that we're good to go. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring the guys in and not waste too much time because we're starting late and I want to make sure they're the keys to the show, not me. So with that, I want to bring in the guys that are part of the Huddle Roundtable. Guys, how you doing? And make sure you unmute yourself so we're able to hear you.
I'm doing good, Coach.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Excited to see you. Excited to hear from you. Especially, I know it's late night for some of you guys. Or we got guys all around the country, which is great. I know there's some people are looking at things, or if they figure out where you are. But man, don't sweat it because, as I've said before, I know guys that know how to collect IP addresses and all that type of stuff. So if guys are going to try to mess with the Huddle Roundtable or anything else, man, we're going to deal with it. So with that, let's focus on the guys that are here to have a good time, and that's you guys and your families and your friends and everybody that's watching us. And I tell you, I'm so thankful for you guys. Like literally, you guys have made you've made the last 8 weeks go by incredibly fast, but you've made it incredibly fun because you've helped me learn and grow and become a better YouTuber. Like I never thought I'd call myself a YouTuber, but it's because of you guys. Like, you guys are not just the future, because I can't stand when people say that about young people. You guys are the here and now. So with the here and now, and with that said, I want to start with the guy in the upper right-hand corner because, and I'm probably always going to do this, Rain, because you're the first guy who brought this to us. You came to me, you connected with me and said, hey, I'd like to meet with you. And I met with you. I was blown away. And here we are now, man. You've created a Discord. Seems like you're like traveling all over the place. Now, it might be biking, it might be something else, but I know you're on the move. So, Rain, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about what's going on. Tell us about your channel, man. Tell us how things are going.
So, everything's going well. Thanks for having me, first of all. Roundtable is going to be great tonight, so can't wait to get this started.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Glad to have you here. Sky High Aviation. Now, I got to tell everybody, Sky Aviation was with me for a couple hours before the show, helping me get a bunch of things going online, getting things connected. I so appreciate it. All these guys put in work all week long. It's unbelievable. So, Sky High, thanks for your work. Thanks for your help. Tell me how things are going, man.
Thank you for the nice words, Coach Marsh. It's amazing to actually be with another group of guys. I mean, we got a whole basically team of people that have been working on this for so long, and we're trying to perfect our product as best as we can. And I feel like we're always getting great guys out here every week. I'm working double duty tonight to double header, double shift, whatever you want to call it. It's awesome. I can't wait to work with I can't wait to hear some new opinions. I can't wait to hear some new stuff. Can't wait to go at it. I hope this is going to live up to the hype. I'm hyped right now, especially after that intro.
I hope so, man. It was fun to put together for you guys. I'll talk about that in a second, but thanks for being here, Sky High. BJ, and I will get your screen centered. Part of the production team that is known as my fingers is trying to get all this stuff set and rolling. So BJ, go ahead and tell us about yourself. So glad to have you here, man. I'm not going to say right now where you're from, other than you are from the same location that my mentor is from, which always gets me excited when I talk to my mentor about it. Like, yeah, I got this guy on the round table, being that he was in the NFL and coached for 22 years. And now I got a guy who's different generation than me on the other side who's joined me on this program. So, man, BJ, how's it going?
I'm doing fine. I'm happy to be here. Excited to see what is going to go down tonight.
I love how you say that, man. Like it's a rumble in the jungle, man. Can't wait to see what's going to go down tonight.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think everyone, on this stream and, the team just in general, I've worked so hard to get things in motion. And it's just really excited to see it all happening and play out. And so just stay tuned. There's more to come.
No doubt about it, man.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And I'm actually trying to produce it as we speak so you can see the transitions taking place. BJ, so glad you're here, man. And what I love about you for that last show, you were just like the quiet assassin. And I'm always I try to be very careful when I say things like that because like I was one when I coached, I never liked to equate war to football. I just didn't think it was a good analogy. But you're just that quiet guy that I thought, man, I don't know if BJ's going to survive on this show and is he going to say anything? Man, you blew me away with what you came with last week. So great job and excited to have you back. All right. And then finally, my friend Jonah. Jonah, how are things going, man?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
We're doing
Thanks for
great.
having
And,
me on,
before you
Coach.
go, I got to say, Jonah, I was so incredibly impressed with you last time. I mean, you're kind of one of the, elder statesmen along with, with Sky High, with Cameron. I love the demeanor by which you came with. Same thing where I thought, okay, we'll see what this young man has to, what he does. And I don't do one-on-ones with you guys and collaborate off of this show to see what your personalities are like. Man, did you ever bring it as well? It's like you and BJ. It came out of nowhere with stuff. It was just very cool to see your personalities come alive. So glad to have you here. So tell us a little bit
Thank you
about
for the
yourself.
kind
What's
words.
going on?
Appreciate it. My name's Jonah, and I'm just really excited to do this tonight. It's going to be a great show, great roundtable, and yeah, let's get it started.
Let's get it started is right, man. So with that, again, we want to thank everybody who's joining us in the super chat. Tyler Parcher, I've seen you out there on a bunch of shows. I know that we've got a connection that goes back ways, and I know that there's some other people out there that are supporting us. We're getting now I'm not pushing my own subscribers, but I know these guys have channels and stuff that are doing things. But I do have to thank Norbcam, and I'll probably always thank him because he's the guy who's been helping us all along. And as people grow, they often forget the people that got them there. And I've been saying that a lot with regards to certain players on the Seahawks, certain players around the NFL, that it's all of a sudden you get to a certain point and then you forget like what got you there. I try to always be a guy that doesn't ever forget who got me there, right? My mentors. But when it comes to this, it was Norbcam. He brought you guys to me every day. The guys talked to me for the last 4 months, helping me with stuff. So anything that happens here on this show is thanks to Norbcam. Any mistakes, on me, right? They always say you point the finger at somebody else, you're pointing three back at yourself. Typical coach's line. I used to say it all the time. Hey, don't point the finger at someone else, point three back at yourself. Mistakes are mine. Great stuff, Norb's. But that open is Norb and Mike Lorraine, his business partner, created that years ago when they were videotaping our team for highlight videos. So all the footage you see is stock footage that is now Coach for Life footage that these guys can use for their channels if they want. I've got hours upon hours of stuff that's just been sitting there in the virtual files that now I'm dusting off for these guys to be able to use. So I will have other names inserted. Those are just the first four that connected to me, so that's why I put them in. So let's move on to the fun stuff. How the show's going to work. We talk about the 4 rules, are the rules that I tell a quarterback when they would go into a huddle. You need to encourage, you need to challenge, you need to warn, and you need to instruct. And I'm only going to say it one time because if you're coachable, you should be able to get that. And these guys know that. The sections that we're going to go through, number 1 is inside the huddle. So when we're inside the huddle, that's when we're talking about all things Seahawks football. Everything has to be connected to Seahawks football. Then when we break the huddle and we go to between the hash marks, that's all things NFL. And then we go outside the hash marks at the end. And today we have a fun one. I think I know the guys in the last show had a blast doing it. Some I threw at them just last minute today. We had a little mock draft for who's going to pick in this draft, this Olympic draft. So we'll explain that a little later. So with that, guys, Seahawks football, KJ Wright, Shaq. There's other guys you can also talk about. But KJ Wright, I think, next to Russ, let's put Russ aside. We'll come back to that at the end if guys have closing comments on that. We know that's a huge story. It's an hour-by-hour story. But with regards to KJ Wright, who I did the coach's corner with on Norbcam show, other people were talking about him, Shaq. Rain, I want to start with you. I'm just going to come to each of you guys just for 30 seconds to 60 seconds. I'm not timing it. Just give me your thoughts on KJ Wright, and or if there's one other player you want to talk about who is a free agent, your thoughts. And if you don't want to talk about KJ Wright, you can certainly talk about someone else, but kind of focal point KJ Wright, because I think most people think he's kind of the next. If you want a definite opinion one way or the other. So, Rain,
Well,
what do you think, buddy?
yeah, so honestly, I think we should re-sign KJ Wright. I'm pretty positive that we will.
And Rain, I'm going to move a little closer to your mic just so we can hear you. I want to make sure we hear you.
Is it
Or
good?
move your mic closer to you.
Okay,
You're
give
good.
me
You
one
don't have to change
second.
anything.
Is this better?
Yeah, there you go. Much better.
Okay. So yeah, what basically we should do is I think we should re-sign KJ Wright. No doubt about it. He's a great player. Influences a lot of people on the team and brings some more hype to the team along with Bobby Wagner, Jamal Adams, and that defense.
Good opening line. I like it. BJ.
Well, I like KJ. I think he's a great player, great teammate, great guy in the locker room. But, you just look at, the age and, when linebackers, at his position, start to digress. and start to play really badly. And I think we can sign him. I'll be happy if we sign him on a 1 year, $8 to $7 million contract. But anything more than that, he can go to any team he wants. I just think we have good enough linebackers to replace him. It would take time for them to, replace him, but I think they can get the job done.
Totally
fast.
Great thoughts, man. Great thoughts. And I'm doing my best to hold my opinion because I just want this show to be about you guys. But BJ, man, great sound bites on both sides. So you're saying like, hey, we'll pay you, but man, we're not gonna, just like he's not going to give us a hometown discount. We're not going to give you the because you've been in the family, pay you more deal. Like it. I like it. Jonah, what do you think, man? And I got to say, what's cool about these guys is that, again, they're from all around the country. And yet here they are, big Seahawks fans. I know we got people all around the world that are huge Seahawks fans because they get, seeing stuff. So I just love the fact that you guys have decided to join us and that you're one of the 12s. So Jonah, what do you think on the KJ Wright thing?
I think that KJ Wright needs to be signed, and that's just that. I believe that you should always go out and sign your best players. And I truly believe that KJ Wright was the Seahawks' best defensive player this year. I think that they should do whatever it takes to sign him. But obviously, I don't think that they should sign him double digits. That's just my opinion. If he was their best player this year on defense, but if they're going to sign him to double digits, I don't think it's worth it. But you guys, they have to pay the guy. And the dude is a very good linebacker. And plus, he played a new position this year that he'd never played. And he had one of the best seasons that he's ever had. So imagine what year 2 and that would bring.
Good points. Sky High.
I don't kind of want to repeat what I said from just the show from a couple hours ago, but I think it kind of has to be said. KJ Wright is theoretically the heart and soul of this defense. If you take a heart, like a nice little heart, you have all these players and all that. But let's just say KJ Wright goes and signs a 2-year deal with the Panthers. Let's go. He signs a big chunk of that heart just kind of falls off of that Seahawks defense. He's kind of that heart and soul. He's kind of been that guy who's been there for us. He's been there as long as we can remember. And we don't want to picture him with a different team because, it just wouldn't feel right. Besides that, KJ Wright is a really talented linebacker. As Jonah said, he played a different position this year. I think he deserves the money. I think he's not going to get signed more than a 2-year deal. And even if he plays out that 2-year deal and he ends up becoming on the bench, he's still worth re-signing because it's always good to have linebacker depth. It's always important to have depth at linebacker, even if Jordan Brooks is starting over him, because KJ Wright at that same time, he may not be playing as much. He still has that leadership info, and he's still a piece of that big heart of that defense. You don't want you don't want a chunk of that heart missing because then, it's kind of hard to piece it back together because you got to use those little bits and pieces to put it back together. So,
man, that's quite the visual. That's quite the visual you got there, buddy. That's some sound advice for life, I think. You get some life advice too. Jonah, leadership, man. You seem like the type of guy that's probably a pretty solid leader. What do you think? How much do you put stock? How much stock do you put into that in terms of if you're going to pay a guy? Like Cameron on the previous show and on other shows where he's talked about, hey, I don't care if the guy's a good dad or not. I mean, can he tackle? That's what matters. Is he a good football player? And that's not saying that Cameron did, and he even said, like, of course I care that he's a great person. I know he's a good person. But where do you put the stock in leadership on a team at the linebacker position or in that linebacker core? Does that merit much value to pay a guy more or less? Or would you say, hey, I'm more about the football, how you play on the field? We have enough
I think
leaders.
it does. I think it does merit a lot because especially at the position that he plays, KJ Wright plays linebacker. And linebackers are the leaders of the defense. That's just what they are. Like you have anchors on the defensive line, and you have the great studs in the secondary and the hard-hitting safeties. But the linebackers are the guys who will go in there and will do the dirty work, and they'll usually come out winning for you. And so the fact that KJ Wright is a leader, I think, says a lot about him, and I think it shows on the field. He is one of the leaders of that defense, and in the locker room, the Seahawks are in a position where they don't have a lot of older leaders, like guys from the Super Bowl run. KJ Wright is one of those guys, and I think that is just another reason why they should re-sign him.
Man, outstanding points. Anybody else have a thought with regards to either leadership or those intangibles, right? Because that's a lot of what people are saying with KJ is, great player. And again, when I did my Coach's Corner piece, I put my opinion on that. So if you want to go watch Coach's Corner, I want these guys to have their opinion. I don't want them to be swayed by what I'm saying. So is there an intangible piece there from anybody else that has thoughts, whether it's leadership, whether he's a good person, that he represents Seattle, or do you feel like, hey, that's not what we're about? If we want to win Super Bowls, we already have, you only need one or two leaders. Maybe we have that in Adams or Wagner. You don't need a bunch of those guys, or do you? Go ahead. Anybody have thoughts on that?
Well, if you think about it, KJ Wright is a leader. He's that guy, that focal point from an aspect. He may not be the best player skilled, or he may not rack up all those tackles. He may not end up being an all-star or pro bowler in the end. But in the end, he's kind of like that journeyman who never left. He's kind of that guy who's like, dude, he's been through a lot. He's done it all, but he's only been on one team. So, I mean, if you think about it, again, it's kind of almost like a requirement that we resign him. But again, the leadership does play a big role into it. But he deserves to get paid. So I completely understand why he doesn't want to take a hometown discount, because he deserves to get paid. He deserves to get that money pretty much for that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. BJ and Rain, again, in terms of guy getting his due, paying his way, like everybody talks, and Rain, I know you're a big Russ fan, so I know where you sit on that one. And everybody talks about how, Russ got us through the dark times into here. I'm not going to say whether there's too much stock credit in that or not, but there's obviously a lot of other guys. I mean, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, there are a lot of people that helped us get through the dark times and overpass that, win a Super Bowl, become the second winningest organization over the last decade. Is there some merit? And again, I'm asking Rain and BJ on this one. Is there merit to a guy who's been here his whole career? Like, do you kind of owe it to him a little bit or not to maybe give him a little bit more, or give him that, again, he had said, I'm not giving you the hometown discount. But does that mean we don't say, hey, look, this guy's been with us since square one. He was a guy that was a key figure, to helping us get to where we are. Does that matter?
Well,
BJ or Rain? Either one. Go for it, Rain.
I'm kind of on the Cameron side. He stated in the last stream that Russ has been with us, pretty much his whole career, and we've always had a winning record, and we've had a winning record this whole time he's been here. So he said, would you rather have a winning record every season or be 4-12 and win and have a promised win in the Super Bowl in the next 5 years? And I would obviously go with the 4-12 and win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years, because.
So say that last line again. You'd rather do what? I just want to make sure I heard it clearly.
I'd rather go 4-12 than go 11-5. 11-5 each year, and that's because that's what we've been doing this whole time. We only won one Super Bowl out of it, and we made the playoffs pretty much every year. And it's kind of getting to the point where, we know we're going to make the playoffs, but we don't make it to the promised land. So, it could, trigger some Seahawks fans, but it also could trigger some other fans, like, dude, why are they back in the playoffs? They, get a winning record every season, but never go anywhere. Like, they can't ever make it past the conference finals because Aaron Rodgers is there. So, they have excuses. But.
So if we won a Super Bowl this year, but it meant Russ leaving, and we went 4-12, 2-14, and there's 17 games. I get that there might be 17 games coming up, as we know now. You would take that. And I'm just asking the question just to make sure I got it clear, because I love that. I love that type of stuff, these hypotheticals of what would you trade, what would you give up, gosh, I'd take this for that, and then a year later, like, no, I didn't do that. Just want to affirm before I come to you, BJ.
I definitely would.
You would? Okay, I like it. BJ, any thoughts on that in terms of, again, do we pay a KJ a little bit more because he's been here for a long time, because he's the good leader, because he's a good family man, all these things we hear about that kind of represent us 12s. Like, we kind of like to think of our guys, I think, as very tough, alley cats as I like to call them. But at the same time, the alley cat will come up to come up around you. You can you pet him, you can take care of him, you do whatever you need to. They're like our guys. Is he the type of guy that's okay to let go? And I know exactly what you said in terms of earlier paying him $7 million or so, and then that's it. What do you think? Does that leadership intangible make a difference?
It does on some kind of level. I mean, if Pete and John are gonna do the same thing year in, year out, I would keep him because, he knows the system, he's a good guy. But, if they want to, I think if they want to really win a Super Bowl, they got to change. And, KJ, he's a great player, but, he's going to be taught something new, and he's already, in his 30s, early 30s.
Yeah, Chef Shack Attack called him a really, really old man.
And, I think we just, should, if we're going to change to win Super Bowls, I think we got to leave some players behind, like KJ. Because, we're going to get new leaders who are...
We have to move on, is what you're saying.
Into the new thing, into the new system and stuff. Because, we have KJ who's on the old system. He's getting to learn this new one. I think that wouldn't be beneficial because he wouldn't be such a leader anymore, because he would be in a new environment and wouldn't really know what to do everyone else.
For sure. Jonah, is it hard for fans to let go? Is it hard for fans to, again, I'm not talking teams, I'm just talking fans in general, not you, but just fans in general. Is it hard for fans to let go of somebody that's been around, maybe been there through the tough times? What do you think? More people yes or more people no with being able to let that guy go?
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, just excluding football.
How about Seattle fans? Let me make it a little easier.
About fans, but
Seattle fans. Is it?
Yeah.
Are we more than other teams in terms of we just don't want to let guys go? We just gotta keep them. What do you think about the 12s?
I think so, because the Seahawks have been the most consistent team over this past decade in the NFC. And so that's part of it. You're used to seeing the same guys these past 10 years, or more like past 7, actually, but getting up there in 10. And
so you fear losing. What you're saying is that we might be fearing, if it's a great 10-year run and as guys leave, that might put us closer to losing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you.
But
I think
Ray, just a second. He's got one more thought, and then I'll come to you, Ray.
I think, going back to the question, yeah, it is hard to let things go. I mean, people in general have a tough time of change and letting other things go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, of course, Seahawks fans it's going to be difficult.
I agree. Ray.
And I was just going to hit on that. We're basically like the baby when it comes to the pacifier.
Great analogy, man. That's a great analogy. I agree.
We can't let that go. So it's just like having Russ for so long. We're trying to, not we are, but speculations of him leaving. So it's this close.
I hear you, man. Sky, how many pacifiers can we have in the household, right? I mean, we got a lot of pacifiers with guys. And Shaq obviously hasn't been around for a while, but there's definitely a couple guys that are still left, right? There's going to come a time we got to make a decision on Bobby Wagner. And I mean, if people love Russ and people love KJ, what's it going to be like when he leaves, right? Are we going to be able to let that guy go and stuff? So what do you think, Sky High? The too many the pacifier syndrome that might be the 12s of not being able to let go of that past and the Legion of Boom and gosh, we've been winning. Are we more? My question is more: are we more than the average fan when it comes to that stuff?
Well, to think about it, yeah. I would the best way for us to actually handle this situation, if they were all to leave, is by them retiring with the team and physically understanding mentally understanding and physically understanding that they cannot go on any longer. Let's just say Bobby Wagner plays till he's 39 years old. That's pretty old for a linebacker, but he retires. We'll all understand. Hey, he retired. He retired because he was old. He had a good career. He brought us many memories. He brought us happy memories. He brought us success, but to see a member of our team get traded or released or cut, that hurt. I mean, watching Doug Baldwin get cut because he failed his physical, that hurt. And then he ended up retiring. That was kind of sad. But what did we fill the gap with? We ended up filling the gap with DK Metcalf. So if Bobby Wagner leaves, what happens to him? Oh, we need to fill the gap with somebody with him. Russell Wilson leaves.
I was just going to say, what happened when we signed Matt Flynn and everybody was like, "Oh, well, we got Matt Flynn from the Green Bay Packers," and At least I think he was the Green Bay Packers, right? Yeah, pretty sure he was. And then like, oh, well, we drafted this Russell Wilson guy. I nobody really knew who he was, even though he's a record-setting quarterback. We fail to realize what might be coming next because we're so caught up in what we've had that, hey, maybe what's next might be better. And I'm not saying that about KJ Wright. I'm saying it as a whole with the 12s, with our people that we've had. Hard to let those guys go.
It is hard. It is really hard to let people go. I mean, and of course, it makes it even harder if somebody gets traded and you don't get value back for it. If you look at it from a trade standpoint, it's hard to see somebody get cut for not just because they got cut, but for possibly having a problem with organization or having an issue. So it's a mixed reaction if you think about it. And some people may be happy with it, some people may not.
I hear you. BJ, let's say Marshawn Lynch said he's coming back and he wants to play with the Seahawks. I'm not looking for your personal opinion. I just want to know what you think Seattle would do. You have a stadium of 72,000 people. How many of those 72,000 people are saying, yes, sign Marshawn, start him, he's the guy? You can either give me a percentage or 52,000 of 72,000 or 12,000, because I see people that are always talking about Marshawn. I just this morning watched a thing on Peyton's Places, which is one of my favorite shows, where he goes and talks about the 100-year history of the NFL. I mean, they're phenomenal. But the one he just did with Marshawn Lynch, it was fantastic. I'm like, gosh, I missed that guy. But I wouldn't want him back necessarily. What do you think,
99%.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's such, not only is he like a cool figure because, he's so, quiet from the media. It makes him more interesting. But, he's been a great player. He's always delivered it, big time. And, we get attached to our players that are just really good for us. And, it's hard to not say, hey, we get Beast Mode back.
Yeah, you guys are too young to remember Boys to Men probably, but they had a song, It's So Hard to Say Goodbye. And I feel like that's every single player we have that's halfway decent in all of our sports teams, but definitely from 2012 on, any of those Seahawks that were with us at the Super Bowl, that's why I think everybody's excited about a potential wide receiver that could be coming back. And I don't want to get into, hypotheticals of what free agents are out there or who got released and who got cut, but there's a certain receiver that I think a lot of people are hoping that'll come back who's, he's in his early 30s. He played for us, who knows? And people, if you replaced his name, people probably like, who knows if we really want that guy. But because it's a former Seahawk that played with us and had great plays, you're like, oh man, we can get that guy back. Same with Marshawn, same with KJ. So you guys bring up some great points on that. Are there any other Seahawks before we go to between the hash mark segment that you guys want to hit on? Any Shaq or any of the free agents that are currently with the Seahawks that might be leaving that you didn't get a chance to say anything on?
No. Yeah,
well, I just want to say,
and it can be anybody. You can each have your own little 30 to 60 seconds. So let me go, BJ. I saw BJ jumping in, then I'll come to you, Rain. So BJ, go right ahead.
We need to sign DJ Reed to a long-term contract. He is so good, and I do not want to see him go.
Well, what's your favorite thing about him? What's your favorite thing about him?
Well, I mean, he was underrated all year long, and I think he's still underrated.
For those people who are watching, who might sometimes people say names, and if it's not Russell Wilson, and if it's not DK Metcalf or Bobby Wagner, people are like, who? Like what position? Like you'd think everybody would know who he is. And I don't know, like anybody out there, like what position did he play?
He's a cornerback for us, and he was a stud since he came out from injury. I think it was the first 49ers game that we played. He came back and, he just had this, spark to him that, lit something up, and he was great on kick returns.
Yeah.
And
he's an Intel player, and you just said it, right? What team did he come from?
Niners.
The 49ers. And I've always said, if you can get an Intel player, meaning he can give us some intel on someone in our division 2 times a year, that's a guy you want. You want those guys that that are going to be there from a previous regime or what have you. Now, granted, they're good at defense coordinator. Rain, you were going to say something, then Sky, I'll come to you. Rain, what were you going to say?
we're pretty much into it already. I was just gonna say we already talked about free agents in another show. If you wanna hop over there after this one. So
nice plug. That's a nice plug, Mr. Marketing Guy. That was a nice plug for the other show. Great job.
So the coach for life in football and Seahawks talk never ends.
Good stuff, man. See, you guys are so much smarter than me. I wouldn't even know how to self-plug my own show, and you guys are plugging all these other shows. Sky, you were going to say something before we move on.
I want to add what BJ said. I completely agree that DJ Reed is a future going to be great future cornerback. I just don't think we're getting him for cheap right now. You think about it, we're paying him maybe $900,000 right now. I don't really think it's time for an extension yet. I don't know the specific details of his contract, but as long as we keep keeping it for cheap, it'll be fine. Maybe in the next couple of years to deserve an extension, but I think next year is kind of a prove it year. He plays all 16 games. He does well. Maybe he earns some money. Maybe he earns maybe $2-3 million, but I don't think he's worth that much yet. I don't think he's not. I don't think we have to lock him up yet. I don't think he wants money yet. I don't think he needs money yet. I don't think anybody in the organization thinks he needs money. Maybe I think you're thinking ahead, BJ, but I think further down the road, it is a very real possibility that he gets some money. He maybe gets $3 million per year, $5 million per year. So I like you're thinking ahead, but not just yet. Right now, we got him on cheap deals for the next couple of years. It'll be good. It'll be good until then, so he can really kind of prove himself worth the money. And then if instead of signing him now, and let's just say he gets hurt, or let's just say his play significantly decreases, it kind of be a waste of money. So you kind of want to see where he's gauging at. But I like the thinking.
Well, that's a good thought. So I'm going to take a little break because I know one of the members of the show is going to be moving out of here in a second. So Jonah, before you take off, man, do you have any comments? And if you're able to jump back on, we certainly want you to hop back onto the show. So, but before you take off, anything you want to say or you want to throw out there before you're on your way? Because we can see and we can hear you well, unless you can't hear us right now. Oh, looks like he can't. He might be writing something down.
He did say he was going to restart his computer and join back.
We'll go ahead and do that, and we can make that work. So with that, I want to transition. Look at this. That work. Don't sweat it, man. Don't sweat it. So we're going to do this. He can go ahead and do what you need to do there, Jonah. And then I want to let's move to the next section, guys. And the next section is going to be, and I may have to do a quick transition on our component as he stays there. Let's move to between the hash marks. NFL best defensive line that's out there. Who is it? Sky High, I'm going to start with you.
Is that you playing the music in the background? Because I hear some music going on in my background for some reason.
No, we're good. We're good.
Oh, no, that's something else I had open. Okay, the best defensive lineman in the NFL, is that what you asked?
Yeah, the NFC West. What's the best D-line in the NFC West?
Oh, okay. Well, let's go over that real quick. Coming in at number 4, we're going to have the Seattle Seahawks, and here's why. Right now, we're actually currently in extension talks with Carlos Dunlap, so he could get locked up and save a lot of money. We'll get some more money in free agency. But right now, I think of Seattle's defensive line as a bunch of young guys that are trying to prove themselves to be a good defensive line. They have the blueprint. They have the draft picks. They have the personnel to be a great defensive line. It's just a matter of being able to put it all together. And I don't think you can do it kind of in one season, especially with guys who haven't played with each other before. So that's why I keep us at number 4. Obviously, the Jamal Adams blitzing, the Carlos Dunlap has clearly made an impact when he came to Seattle. Just keep him at number 4 for now. They're kind of all these teams, all these lists all these players that I'm going to state, they're all interchangeable. So, but right now Seattle's number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have Arizona. They kind of struggled getting to the pass. They kind of struggled getting to the quarterback last year a bit, but they do have right now looking personnel wise one of the best. Right now, they have a key guy on the outside, that's Chandler Jones, and then they have a key guy on the inside, that's J.J. Watt. It's always important to have at least one key player on the defensive line. And for us, for example, the Seahawks, Carlos Dunlap, Bobby Wagner, Jamal Adams, all key focal points, all superstars in their respective, position group. I think Arizona has two all pros, all stars in their respective position group. That's what can make them dangerous. So they're also interchangeable with these last two teams on this list. But right now I have them at 3. Number 2 is going to be the Los Angeles Rams, and here's why. Right now the Rams are dead in the water. They are drowning right now in cap space. They're going to lose a couple of their key defensive linemen, but right now what makes them not automatically at number 2 is Aaron Donald, the best defensive player that we have seen in the past 10 years besides Ray Lewis. Aaron Donald has been absolutely out of this world. He always makes everybody around him better. That's why I'm keeping the Rams at a solid number 2. They have some really good coaching over there. Number 1 is got to be the 49ers. I know they also struggled to get the quarterback last year, but that's because they have all the injuries they had. I know we got a guy in Norbcam. His name is IR. He's a 49ers fan, but he changed his name to IR, and his logo is a wheelchair with the 49ers circle on it. And I'm like, this guy, at least he's not being making a joke of it, but the 49ers had so many injuries last year, and they're going to get a couple of those guys back. Nick Bosa, have to wait and see. An ACL injury, that can put you out for a while. But still, I have the 49ers very close, with the Rams very closely following behind. Mainly the 49ers because they have depth. They have guys that they have a lot of guys that they've been able to draft in the first round. They have a lot of good depth. So, yeah, a lot of interchangeable parts. We'll have to see what happens when the season comes.
Man, great breakdown, man. BJ. And Sky, that was fantastic. And I'm not trying to cut you guys off. I want to make sure we get to the Olympic stuff too, because I know you guys want to do that and want to keep us on time. So just kind of keep it brief, but definitely give me your list, your top 4, and you can give a brief sentence on each one or totality how you see it, or you can just give me the list.
Yeah.
Okay. Just fun thing to talk about. So go ahead, BJ.
Obviously, last is Seattle. I just think they just have
all right, let's move Seattle out of the way. I think everybody's kind of agreeing on that one.
And then, you got Arizona and second. Well, actually, I'm going to change that. I'm going to put LA second.
All right.
Very surprising, but I think, they're just going to be tight on cap and then have to let go some guys. And the defensive line might be, somewhere where it might cost them,
Hey.
So, and then, you get to Arizona. I think Arizona had a good pass rush for, the injuries they had on their D-line. And, just now adding with J.J. Watt, that's a monster duo with him and Chandler Jones.
Yeah, you think Russ is excited about facing all these teams, 6 times a year?
No, I don't think so. I think he's scared unless we sign some big time up.
Unless we sign The Rock and a few other guys to come in. Not The Rock the way he used to play, but The Rock as he is now, right?
Yeah, and then obviously San Francisco. I think they were just riddled with injuries this year, and they're going to get a lot of good players back, and contract issues and really on the D line this upcoming year. So I don't think there's too much to worry about there.
Yeah, man, good stuff.
Hey,
Rain.
Breaking news here. Juju Smith-Schuster. There's talks about him going to Arizona. Per source, Arizona Central. So.
What was the source? And just so people are out there watching, I've told these guys if they're going to break news or do something, they have to cite the source. They have to cite the source. So we're not just some rumor mill, run of the mill group here. So what are you saying, Ray?
Actually, Juju's a bad luck charm.
Okay, there you go.
Arizona
See,
Central.
watch our show. You get breaking news, man. How about that? Just another plug for the show
bad
there.
Luck for the
Breaking news.
Man,
He's gonna go Corvette.
Yeah, totally is. Jonah, your 4 teams, NFC West.
NFC West, so
And I'm glad you're able to stay. We thought you were leaving. You stayed. Man, it's kind of like you called an audible. That's totally fine on this show.
Obviously, the bottom feeder, Seattle. It's bad when your second best pass rusher is a safety. Third, disagree with me here, but hear me out. I'm putting the Rams at third, and here's why.
Whoa, I like him. That's crazy. I like it though, man. I love it.
The Rams at third. The Rams. Scott had brought up the fact that the Rams, they have no cap space, and they may even be a negative cap. I don't know. but they have no first-round draft picks to get a top-tier, like blue chip defensive lineman. But they need an edge rusher. A lot of last year revolved around two guys, Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd. And Leonard Floyd is gone this year. Aaron Donald's there, and Aaron Donald is the best defensive player in the NFL. No disrespect to Aaron Donald, but there is a way to stop Aaron Donald. You run the ball down Aaron Donald's throat, and you double team him. If you have a good center and guard, you double team him. When they run stunts and twists, you have to stick with Aaron Donald. And then your center and guards, they have to tap each other, whatever you have to do, just pick it up. There's a way to beat Aaron Donald, and it can be done. So that's exactly why I'm putting them there. And number 3. Number 2, I have the 49ers. I believe that they were very injury-riddled this year. Obviously, Nick Bosa, Solomon Thomas, D Ford not playing. And I think that they have a very, very good defensive line. But the reason I'm putting them in number 2 is because of those injuries. I believe that Nick Bosa will become stronger because of the ACL injury. That's what happens to a lot of guys who have ACL injuries. But D Ford, dude hasn't really produced. He's not looking like the second-round pick that he was traded for from the Kansas City Chiefs and then signed that large contract with them. Eric Armstead, I honestly can't tell you how Armstead did last year. He may have been injured. I didn't watch a lot of Niners football this year, so I can't tell you that much. And then Solomon Thomas, that was his last year, I believe, with them. He's not coming back. He's a depth piece. Yeah, they have guys like B.J. Jones, who's a great run stopper up the middle, but I don't think that they can beat the number 1 team in defensive line, which is the Arizona Cardinals after this trade. Try doubling J.J. Watt.
If we had 100,000 followers right now, people would be going nuts. But I love it.
Try double teaming J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones. That's 4 offensive linemen for 2 people. It's going to have to somewhat be done. You can double team. I believe that you can double team or even not double team the guys on the Rams, Seahawks, and Niners. But you have to almost put 2 people on J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones at once. And then that's 4 offensive linemen for 2 guys. And what you can do if you're the Cardinals, you rush 4, and then you have your guys drop back. It's just going to be a nightmare. I don't know how to describe it because you have those 2 guys, J.J. Watt with that relentless swim move, and then Chandler Jones is an absolute demon off of the edge. And I don't see how you can stop him, especially the fact that J.J. Watt plays 5-tech and can kick inside on first and second downs and stop the run, which he's also very good at doing. And that's why the Arizona Cardinals have the best defensive line in the NFC West.
Man, fantastic. Range? I have a feeling you got some thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring it.
They're all great points. I mean,
why do I feel like there's like a comma, but... Here we go. Like they're all great points, but Jonah, go ahead, Raina. Don't let me speak for you, man. You could take it.
You kind of threw the Rams under the radar. Like you don't put them 3rd just because, like of their D line. I mean, I understand we're talking about that, but like I wouldn't have placed the Rams 3rd, although we just lost them in the playoffs and stuff like that. But I'm gonna put the Rams. I'm gonna go from number 1 to number 4 since everyone's going. First. So I'm gonna obviously go with the Rams. I mean, no doubt they got what's his name? It's Joseph Day. I can't recall his first name. They got Aaron Donald, obviously. They got I just can't recall any of the Rams D-line. But they just have a defensive line all around. And then second, I'm going to go with the 49ers. The Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa pretty much seals the deal if you're a Niners fan because he's so great. He's very young, and that's why the other show. Here's another plug. If you go check out the other show before the second, like the one right after this one, if that makes sense to you.
Oh, yeah.
But, so if you check that out, we did pretty much break that down. And for my 3rd one, I gotta go with the Hawks. We got Carlos Dunlap, we got Jared Reed, we got pretty much all those pieces, and comparing that with JJ Watt and Chandler Jones, is JJ Watt going to play all 16 games? Probably not. Is Chandler Jones going to play all 16 games? Probably not. So I got to go with the Seahawks. Even Jonah. Let me hit this off to Jonah. Obviously, fourth is the Cardinals, but I want to hit this off to Jonah. Jonah, I want to see what you're talking about.
How on earth did you just put the Seahawks over the Cardinals? And how did you manage to put the Rams at number one? I respect what you're saying. I mean, it takes guts to put that stuff out there, but I will respectfully disagree with you.
Jonah's coming after you.
Yeah, we can agree to disagree.
Oh, boy.
Give you the last few seconds here on this topic, and then we're going to move to the Olympic 5. Anything else on this? On the D-line topic? Because I think there's a lot of great debate on it. There's no doubt about it. In terms of who could be number one.
I just don't think the Cardinals have that much firepower. And even though, JJ Watt, like, oh my gosh, JJ Watt, like, I have so much respect for the dude. I have much respect for him that Coach Marsh does. So, I just don't see that working out as well as other people do. JJ Watt is a great player overall. He is a great player. So, I just don't see it working out. That's all it is. And I would place them very much. I would place them like third or second if I see it working out, but I don't see it working out.
Well, and I'll tell you what I respect in the numbers is the fact that J.J. Watt, yes, he's been hurt, so that's a question mark, right? But he's missed over 30 games in the last 4 years. Yet he and his new counterpart on the D line, if you put them together, they're the number one sack leaders as a combo, the two of them over the last few years. So you got that going for him. Like you said, there's the potential injury piece. Does LA have maybe the best player? But Jonah brought up a great point. Sometimes you can run right at guys. We always say, don't try to run around people. Sometimes the best thing you can do is run right at the best player on the team instead of running away from the best player on the team. A little bit. So good stuff. That Jonah, I'm gonna give you and or BJ final word here before we go to Olympics. So Jonah, go ahead and say what you wanted to say.
So just two more things. Aaron Donald putting this out here, like you mentioned, running at a terrible run stopper. Like the way to beat him is to run right at him. They cannot stop the run.
Let him say it, Rain.
He's a great pass rusher, best defensive player in the league, no question about it, but he is not a good run stuffer. He's just too small. And second, I'm going to end it on this. The Niners allowed one, or I forget if it was 1 or 0. I'm just going to say 1. But the Niners allowed 0 sacks to the Rams this played.
Man, I love a guy that can back it up with numbers. I put that in the super chat, right? If you can back it up with facts, hey, I have no problem with someone that goes against the grain. BJ, anything you want to add before we move on, or you good on this topic?
Well, I just want to add one thing, and it's like JJ Watt. He might not be getting all the sacks, but I mean, you look at it, he's pressured quarterback so much. He's getting double teamed so much. He's getting, triple teamed and all that because he's feared by offensive linemen, and he would not. I don't think he would not go to Arizona if he did not think it would work out. So I think that's why Arizona could have one of the most surprising defensive line out of the whole league.
Yeah, I would agree with you. No doubt about it. So, all right, guys. Well, that's some great topical points on both the Seahawks piece, inside the huddle, and then going between the hash marks with this topic. But now it's the thing that I've been most excited about when it finally came to my head what we were going to do. I know I threw it at you last minute today, which I think sometimes that's the most fun you have, right? I mean, by far the most fun I've had with Norb has been these last couple of weeks when he's called me one time I was at the store. Say, hey, can you get home in a few minutes? And we're doing something with DJ Squabo, so I jumped on with them, and then he connected with me on another one. Man, that's the fun stuff. So here's the deal. And these guys kind of know the rules, but for those who are watching, if you didn't get a chance to see the last show, basically I always did this thing with my buddies for years, and then during this pandemic, I mean, we've been doing it constantly, and I've always been the ringmaster of coming up with the ideas for the most part, and that's one of two things. It's been Mount Rushmore, kind of the greatest of, or the Olympic 5, and recently it's been mostly the Olympic piece because I get that there's social issues out there with regards to Mount Rushmore, and I don't want to put these guys in that position, so we're going to focus more on the Olympic piece, which is picking some sort of an entity or a group of people in whatever the sport realm is, and then saying, okay, if we were going to take that group, if that became my team, so it became BJ's team or Jonah's team or Sky High's team, Sky Aviation's team or Rain's team, and they were going to go to the Olympics with just this group based on my criteria, who would you take in a draft? They're going to draft, and it's a snake draft. And I'll explain in a second. And then I get to kind of look and go, who do I think would be the best of those four in this group? Because there's four of them competing. It's fun. It'll be a little sketchy in terms of as we're going through this the first go around. This is the first time they've ever gone through it, but this is going to be a fun thing that we'll do probably once every 4 episodes. Where we can play this type of a game. We got polls we're getting ready to put together for you guys. All sorts of things these guys are working hard to create. And this is their show. So I want to do the stuff they want to do. But I thought this would be a fun thing. So with that, we have a draft.
Aren't I the...
Yep. So I was just going to say that,
draft
man.
opener?
See, the fun part about these guys,
Coach.
it's kind of like when I'd have a trick play. And nobody ran more trick plays in the state of Washington than I did as a high school football coach. Always had trick plays. Always ran fake punts. One game we started off, and Norb has it on film, him and Mike. We started off a game, onside kick. Then they moved their middle guy over one spot. And I was like, well, that wasn't a very smart move because now we're going to onside kick it right at him again. But now he's over here. And we were up 21-0 before their team saw the ball. And it was in a division championship game. So not afraid to do the crazy stuff, not afraid to run the trick plays, not afraid to do all those things. So my point is, kids, teams, players, parents all the time, are you going to run the trick play, like first play of the game? I'm like, well, let us get into a groove. We'll pick and choose when. So Sky High, yes, I was going to call and introduce you. But since you've already done it, man, it kind of deflated my excitement, man. I had this big introduction for you to introduce you as the introducer. And now,
that sucks.
With that, Sky High Aviation, for everybody, will be the official announcer of the 2021 inaugural Olympic Ring 5 draft. Sky High, can you explain how this draft works real quick in terms of the snake portion of the draft?
The rules of the draft are simple as followed. The correct order for tonight's draft include, with the first overall pick, Jonah, with the second overall pick, Rain, with the third overall pick, me, and with the last overall pick, BJ. But snake drafts work differently. It's a snake, basically.
Explain. I know you're explaining, but tell them how it's different than like an NFL draft.
It's different than the NFL draft, as how in the NFL you have standings that are based off standings and records are placed off, or how you are placed into the draft. In a snake draft, since BJ selected last, BJ will select first in the second round, followed by me, Rain, and Jonah going last. Following into the third round, Jonah will select first, Rain, me, BJ. Get it now? That means BJ would select fourth. That means BJ would select first in the fourth round, with Jonah going last. That's pretty much the rules. And now our first official snake Olympic draft is now open. Jonah, you are on the clock.
The first Olympic Ring 5 draft, and even though I know you guys are going to throw the snake in there, which I always love that because my buddies are like, so who's got the second pick in the snake draft? I'm like, we're not picking snakes. But that's all right. So
I draft the python.
So let's go ahead and officially start it. I know you already announced it, but go ahead. And by the way, how did this draft selection work, Sky High? In terms of how are the selections made? Did I just arbitrarily just choose guys because who was my favorite went first and who was my next favorite went second? No, we went scientific.
Coach pulled him out of a hat. He pulled him right out of a hat.
Oh, who pulled him out of the hat?
His wife.
There you go. I get the whole family involved in this stuff. I went scientific. I showed these guys the pictures, tore the names up, put them in a hat, let her pick. I didn't want there to be any sort of personal bias. So that said, let's go and have that first announcement again. And we will go right there. You get 10 seconds. If you don't get it in 10 seconds, you're like the Minnesota Vikings years ago. We bypass you. Or if
Jonah,
you pick a Seattle Seahawk.
on the clock.
Jonah, you're officially on the clock.
With the first pick, not my first pick, the first pick in Coach for Life Roundtable, second show of the day. I am going to be selecting Mr. Patrick Mahomes II.
Man, and what's crazy is what you have to wonder is, are the people back in the city of Jonah going crazy, or are they going, boo, We wanted the
Oh, he's from
goat.
Texas Tech.
You picked a baby goat who wasn't much of a baby goat in the Super Bowl.
He made better plays, in my opinion, than Brady.
Hey, man,
Brady is captain check
I broke down film of him today, man. That I love the stuff he does. And again, this is all about who would you take currently to the Olympics, not about the all-time greats. So I like how Jonah's looking at it. Like maybe Tom Brady wouldn't be good with the 5 guys he's looking to pick. And again, if somebody picks somebody else that you wanted, that means you're off the clock. Go ahead, Sky.
All right, so Jonah has selected
Mahomes.
Rain, you are now on the clock.
Yeah, so with my second pick, my first pick in the 2021
The quarterback is?
Draft. My quarterback is going to be Drew Brees.
Oh, another interesting selection from the standpoint that people would look and go, gosh, great quarterback, awesome guy. Is he the guy at 59 years old to lead us into the Olympics? I'm kidding. I know he's not that old. I like the selection, man. I like it a lot.
Coach Marsh. You got to introduce my name now.
That's right. That is the rule. With the third pick in the 2021 Olympic Ring 5, Sky High Aviation.
I think this one's obvious. I'm picking Tom Brady, the GOAT. The greatest of all time, and he just led Tampa Bay to a Super Bowl, so yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, he picks Brady GOAT.
No.
BJ.
Scratch
BJ.
that goat off real quick. Hold on. Scratch the goat.
Go ahead, Sky High.
BJ.
I know people at their hometowns are yelling, but here at the headquarters, I don't hear the fans yelling at me, at the commissioner here.
Oh, I see. So BJ, you're now on the clock.
BJ, on the clock. Let me get your name where it needs to be. All right, BJ. With the first pick at quarterback.
My first pick in the draft, I select Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills.
I like that pick. Nobody selected. Did anybody select Allen in the last?
No.
Man,
No Aaron Rodgers, though? No Rodgers?
I know. That's what stuns me. That means if I was picking, I would get him at the 5th selection. That would be the steal. I mean, that would be an unbelievable steal at the 5th pick, but I'm not playing the game. So, Sky High. Now, this is where people get confused out there because if they've never been in a snake draft or they haven't been part of some fantasy league that does snake drafts. Who's next?
Well, since BJ picked last, technically BJ's first again. So BJ, you are now on the clock for a running back.
BJ, first running back selected. That's why when you get the picks, it's actually better, in my opinion, not to be the number 1 selection. It's almost good to be this spot. Back-to-back picks.
Right.
It's like, so really, what Buddy told me, it's like scoring a touchdown at the end of the half, and then you get the kickoff to start the second half.
You did this time, Coach.
All right.
BJ.
Now your 10 seconds start, BJ. Sorry,
With the
Sky.
first pick in the second round, I select Saquon Barkley.
Yes. Barkley. And I still don't know if it's Barkley or Barkley. I don't know the spellings of all these guys.
I think that's right.
I like the selection. Sky High?
I think this one's obvious.
Oh, this one. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me introduce you. I don't know who's going to the podium. With the second selection in the second round of the Olympic Ring 5 draft, down from his 747, Sky High Aviation.
All right, BJ. I think you made a mistake. You didn't pick Alvin Kamara, and that's who I'm going to pick.
Hold on. Wait a minute. The commissioner just received word. Yes, that was okay, we got it. Rain, you are now on the clock because one of the rules is you are not allowed to make comments negatively towards or positively towards somebody else's pick. So, Rain, you just moved up in the draft.
What?
For an unconditional draft pick in the 2022 draft for this round. Gosh, I hope he does not steal your running back, Sky High.
I'm going to go with AK-41/6/25. That's Alvin Kamara. I love that dude. The GOAT of all running backs.
Kamara, I don't think I can put that on Kamara, man. I just don't think. I mean, we're talking. You're gonna put Kamara with Walter Payton and Barry Sanders and. You know what happens when you do that? You know what happens when you do that, Rain? You end up. The commissioner looks at the deal and he says, No, there was tampering.
don't give
There
it
was
to
tampering
Jonah.
involved.
It's gotta be.
There was tampering
It's gotta
involved.
be Kamara.
The selection does not count. We go back
It's
to
gotta be Kamara.
Sky High as the second pick in the second round.
Okay, so now I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna say I picked Kamara. That's it.
Oh man, people are gonna be upset at the commissioner. See, I take the beating from everybody. But
You're not the
that's why I don't have the
commissioner,
super
are you?
chat up. No, I'm the acting commissioner. All right, Rain.
Okay, good.
This
Well,
is good. See, it's good. It's
but I
like kind of
had
the
my
mock draft,
six.
because now you guys will know the rules as we go forward.
Should have had my whole state squad, but I'm gonna back it up. I'm gonna go
I think there's a better running back out there.
with my second pick in the 2021 Coach of Life NFL Draft. I'm gonna go with Christian McCaffrey.
Yes,
CMC.
that's the guy. That is the guy. I
Look
would've
at
said.
Jonah. Oh no.
Have you guys seen the video? Have you guys seen the video of him when he's making his kind of comeback off? I know I'm not spelling that right.
Yeah, hold on. I got
So if
you.
somebody could look that up for me, great.
Yep.
That's not even close, right? But I know that
No, I think it's actually right.
with the E in there. I'll come back.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you guys have seen him when he makes his comeback video, well, he's jumping over hurdles, and the acceleration he makes after the last hurdle, it's unbelievable. That talk about a video game guy, like he's a
It's a go.
Rain. You just made your fans super happy. They were upset. They were happy, but what the problem is, there's a lot of people in Jonahsville who are so upset because
Jonahsville.
Jonah had already come out to his fans who were there. He said, we're gonna pick somebody that no one's picking. We're picking McCaffrey. And everybody went crazy. And now, what's he gonna do? How's he gonna get his fans back?
I mean,
Hold on, Sky High.
I was so amped to
Jonah,
pick McCaffrey.
Jonah, you're on the clock now, Jonah. You're officially on the clock.
Sky gets
So
mad
amped
and
to
he
pick
do his job.
McCaffrey. No one picked McCaffrey last time, and so I thought easy steal. But I got to go with the best runner out there because this is a running back, and McCaffrey is the best versatile player there, aside from AK-41. Maybe, I don't know. Toss up. I'm gonna go with Derrick Henry.
There you go. Can't really go wrong on that one there. That's solid, no doubt about it. Did everybody get it? Running back? Yeah, we did all three. Okay, so Sky, here we go, third round.
Third round.
And this is good. These are the quicker rounds because when we get closer, you got to like almost whip them out, and we got to go really quick. So Jonah, wide receiver.
Jonah was last. That means Jonah's first. Jonah, you're on the clock for a wide
Right,
receiver.
so here, a lot of talented wide receivers. Could go Nuke. Could go Michael 5-yard slant route Thomas. No, I wouldn't dare do that. But here, I'm actually going to go with the best route runner in the league, the guy who was unstoppable this year, Devontae Adams.
No doubt about it. Flat out the best wide receiver
No doubt.
in the league, and no doubt about it, I can't type because I can't see with the shades and the light. But he is also the best at getting off the ball pretty much of anybody I've ever seen. And I've studied wide receiver more than any position, sans the quarterback. And I love it. All right. Sky?
Rain, you are on the clock for a wide receiver.
So with my third pick of my 2021 Coach Life NFL Draft, I'm gonna go with ice cold Julio Jones.
Ooh.
I like it, man. I like it. He is a solid player. Ice Cold Jones. In fact, let's go ahead and just finish this thing. Ice Cold Jones soda is what he is, man. I used to get that for my kids all the time. Jones soda used to let you put. Do they still let you put like pictures on it and put names on and stuff? They used to let you get that. Jones soda used to be the massive sponsor for the Seattle Seahawks. So then at Christmas time, you could order Jones soda bottles and you could put any picture you want. You could put names on it. So first Christmas they did it. All my kids received their own Jones soda pop. Pretty cool.
That's nice.
And then I drank probably all of it because it's really tasty. Sky High, don't let me get off track here. Sky High, keep this draft on track. Don't let the commissioner go off track.
I am on the clock now, and this is a pretty obvious option. I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill as my wide receiver.
Yeah, definitely in the top four there. Definitely a playmaker. You guys are building some solid teams here. Sky High, the next pick.
BJ, you are last, and you are on the clock.
All right, so for wide receiver, I'm going to choose DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, man. I think the wide receiver core is probably the best core of the bunch in terms of in terms of easily a top 5 group, you can easily come up with the top 5. Running back's hard.
Everyone's gonna get their
Quarterback
fair
has it,
share.
but it's very debatable. But wide receivers, it's kind of like no-brainer who the top 5 dudes are. All right, we get to loop right back up. 4th round, Sky High. Final round, and then I will let you know how the draft order will go for the head coach.
Final round, BJ, you are on the clock for head coach.
For tight end. For tight end. My
Or
bad.
for tight end, not head coach.
All right. So I think we all know who the best tight end in the league is by far. Not even a close competition.
He's the tight end for the
George
Seattle Seahawks. Oh, okay. I like the pick. I actually think BJ, the commissioner, is not supposed to say anything, but I think BJ's correct on this one.
Okay,
I know who all you guys want to select, and I know that people are going nuts in BJ land, but I'm telling you right now, BJ's correct. Sky High, go ahead. You are on the clock, and you're so shocked. Make sure you still get your pick in 10 seconds.
Okay, yeah, I'm on the clock. Travis Kelsey.
Oh man, you butchered his name. He might not sign. He might be a holdout, and you don't sign him till after the Olympics, and now you're really messed up, man.
Cam Chancellor butchered DK's name. He was like DK Metcalf. So why are you getting
But Cam's not the general manager making the selection here, buddy.
I know. It's not my. It's not.
Rain, man, you're on the clock. Tight end.
My 4th pick. I gotta go Mark Andrews. He's a relatively close guy to me, at least.
You said Andrews?
Mark Andrews, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Jonah.
So, yeah.
Good selection. This
is gonna be a copycat of last time. Jonah, you're on the clock.
Yeah,
if you pick who I think you're gonna pick, come on, Jonah.
I gotta take Waller. Like, why? Come on. You left the guy who I wanted on the board. He is a tight end in a wide receiver spot. He's not the best at blocking, but I have crazy eyes. Derrick Henry just gonna stiff arm the guy if he misses his block.
Does Henry ever get how many touches does Henry get in a ball game if these are the dudes on his team?
These are the guys.
Adams and Waller. Does Henry get 10 touches?
We'll get there all.
15, 20? That's all I'm gonna say, man. Oh, crazy stuff. I like it. Okay, so now let's do a quick review here. We got Jonah with Mahomes, Henry, Adams, Waller. Very solid. We got the Rain Man with Breeze, McCaffrey. I love the McCaffrey. I don't know if I'm spelling that right, but I love the McCaffrey pick. And Jones, geez, that's good. That's a good group. Sky High with, he's got the GOAT, but you know how I feel about Brady, man, and they don't allow you to deflate things in the Olympics. And then Kamara, Hill, and Kelsey, but that quarterback thing, I don't know. And then BJ with like arguably the overall piece. I'm really. Okay, let me just make my order correct here. So I'm gonna go there, and then we're gonna go. Let's see. I got to look at that one, and that one, and that one. Yeah, we're gonna go here. All right. So we're gonna call you out with the head coach, and remember, the head coach has to be the Super Bowl winner. The head coach has to be someone who is. Let me go to the super chat so people can kind of see what they've got going in their super chat stuff. You have to pick head coach who's won a Super Bowl in the 2000s. Another show we will have, any other coach, and then you also can't choose Coach Carroll. I know people right now might be thinking he should be gone, but again, the 2 coaches, these guys, and he has helped us win the second most games the last 10 years. So the order to start off with for head coach of our Olympic Ring 5 this summer to face the other 3 teams and the other couple teams from the other panel. BJ, I think you have the best group. Therefore, you have the first coaching selection. And it doesn't matter what people in the previous show picked. It's just about this show. Who are you taking a head coach?
Might be a bit of surprise pick, but
I was getting ready to type it in.
But I wanted to pick someone who wasn't really going to be expected to be picked first. You can go with the easy choice, Bill.
But you do want to win. I mean, you do want to win the Olympics. You do want the gold medal, right?
Easy choice.
I mean, the one guy, yeah, you can't see it on the screen, but Jonah's literally praying right now. I know you can't see it on the screen, but he's praying. Sky is doing some sort of a rain dance.
Please don't take my pick, bro.
Rain's just chill over there, and BJ's getting ready to shock the world because he's not going to pick Belichick.
The world's going to be shook. So I am going to choose for my head coach.
John Gruden. No, go ahead.
John Harbaugh.
Oh, he's picking Harbaugh. I like it, man. BJ, I love having you on this show because even if you're so far wrong, which I'm not saying you are on this, it's just the fact that you're just willing to like. You're kind of like first take, right? Like those guys, Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman. They have to always just go opposite direction. Man, you always go opposite direction. I love it. You bring some flair to the show. All right. So Harbaugh
Jonah is praying that he's next.
Harbaugh has to hope that the lights go out in the Olympic Stadium. He's at his best when the lights go out in the stadium. Next is Rain. Rain, I really liked your picks. It was the McCaffrey one. The McCaffrey's what did it for me.
Well, this pick is going to do you even better.
All right.
I'm going with the coach. I'm going with Sean Payton.
Oh, man. I like it.
Oh, no.
So dang it.
I think it's PEY too. Oh, man. That is a great selection.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm sensing that people are concerned that they do a lot of testing before people go to the Olympic. They do dope testing. They do playbook stealing testing, stealing plays testing.
Oh my goodness.
Are people shying away from Belichick because they're concerned that their team might not make it to the Olympics because of the fact that
I
don't
just
know.
have so much respect for the Saints organization. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely well run all the way back to the Benson days, everything else. So, all right, Jonah.
Oh, Jonah.
Devastation.
Don't do it to me.
I was convinced that no one was going to pick Sean Payton, and I was going to scoop him up. I don't know where to go now. Do I go an old guy? You know what? This is just for fun, right? If we're picking modern guys, I mean, I already know that my team's better than all of yours, so I'm going to beat you anyway, so the coach isn't really going to matter.
Mr. Confidence. Look at Mr. Confidence bordering on cocky. I love it, man. I used to say it. Yep. As long as you can back it up.
So, if I were taking like a modern day guy, I'm not going with Belichick, to be honest. I don't think our players got to have fun. It's the Olympics, man. You gotta hang loose.
I got it. Okay.
And
okay.
Yeah, of course.
But I didn't win a Super Bowl. I'm sorry, I didn't win a Super Bowl. Okay, all right. Well, I heard you say fun. The guy's got to have fun.
Not going Belichick.
Parcher, tell him in the super chat, man. You know which coach you want if you're gonna have a good time and win games.
Yeah. No, but I am going with a guy who some of you guys may not know. I'm going Dick Vermeil.
Oh, that is a golden selection.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Old Guy.
The first
he'll be 102 when he's coaching these guys.
That's okay.
He is great, man.
I'll bring that energy still, though.
First Super Bowl I ever watched was the one he lost when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles, 1980 against Oakland. That is a great selection. But there is still one person on the clock, and he has one heck of a team. Now, will he put Mr. Deflate the Footballs with Mr. Put Cameras Up and Take Plays? Even though I think the world of Bill Belichick in terms of his coaching.
This may take a bit longer than 10 seconds, but
I'll give you 25 seconds. I'll give you 25 seconds.
I'm gonna pick you, Coach Marsh, because you just texted me.
Selection. I like this. I actually like the selection. I'm gonna keep it up there.
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm sorry. You gotta erase that name. Coach
guys,
Marsh.
when you don't see Sky High on for the next 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, I'm fired. But what I'm trying, I think I'm not going to go with Bill Belichick, and I'm going to go with a guy that I wanted to go last show, Tony Dungy. From the Indianapolis Colts.
And Sky High Aviation's, he just announced, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care how high we're flying right now, I've just selected Tony Dungy with the head coaching selection. Enjoy the remainder of your flight. Very, very, very well done. So, as a quick review, before I bring it back to the all four, Allen, Barkley, Hopkins, Kittle, Harbaugh, and this is where I'm not choosing it. And again, as we do this later, guys, it's going to be awesome because the more people that watch this show, trust me, they are going to be so in the super chat, debating it, picking who's the best group. You can't argue with this. So there you go. There's Rain. Pretty solid, man. Rain.
So, Coach, who do you think is the best?
Jonah.
Obviously, mine's.
Very good. Very good. Here, let me see.
I don't know how you can choose anybody else.
Man, it is really, really hard. PJ, what did you just say, man?
Wait a minute.
Hold on. PJ,
I don't think you can choose anybody else. Mine is the best.
PJ, I got this thing right here for you. All right. So what this is right here? This says second place. That's what you'll be taking when you face on my team.
Hold on.
And you guys are gonna be watching the new Top Gun that comes out. I don't know if you've watched the old Top Gun, but there's a famous line in there of there's no points for second place. And I won't say what the second line was in that movie, but lots of things like that. That was a pretty good shot. But as you can see, BJ's immediately turned around to his like fax machine, copy machine, printer machine, and now you can pull his phone, create some app. BJ's liable to code something right now, create an app, turn it on you, and go, hey, let me show you something better and better. Now, keep in mind, BJ, Jonah does have 2 Rubik's Cubes back there. I don't know if they're brand new or if they were mixed up and then he solved them, but the personality behind Jonah reeks of like crazy wild man. He's got crazy metals there. He's got the light, what do you call the light up thing from the 70s that the bubbles float around? The lava lamp. He's got the lava lamp. I'm out here in lava country, Mount St. Helens. He's a Seahawks fan who has a Yankees pennant with a Houston Astros. So I don't know how much he can talk when you got the Yankees and the Astros. Let's see, one team cheats by banging drums and
Coach Marsh, you better watch out
when
you talk about
throws out a bunch of money out there as much as they can. BJ, what's your comeback on that one?
All right, this is just in. The president, he just heard what I drafted, and he just wanted to give me a medal. Medal of honor here.
Oh, he gave me the Medal of Honor. BJ with the line of the season. Oh my gosh! I might trim out just this 30-second part of between you and Jonah and BJ. Now, Jonah, save it for other shows. Right. You don't want to pull out all your stuff now. Sometimes you have to just be okay with like being smart enough to know that I'm going to lose the battle to win the war. Okay.
I mean, yeah,
you can take this. Sometimes you have to be smart enough to lose the battle to win the war. You might have to punt to gain field position because your defense will stop them. They have a weaker punter. You get the ball back. You win it on a field goal. Play the bigger game.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I got to give him this
that's one heck of a move, buddy.
I wouldn't want to ruin his confidence too badly.
That is one heck of a move. And look at range. It's like, oh, that's golden, man.
Hilarious.
All right. Hey, guys, it has been so much fun. You guys did a great job. I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to be coming with polls and everything else.
Who's the best? Come on.
It's hard for me, man, but I'll be honest with you. As soon as the McCaffrey pick came in, it was hard to argue with that. And then when I saw the head coach,
consideration.
And then the court, I'm a huge Breeze fan. My wife, who does tons of the fantasy football. I've never done a fantasy football league. She's done them for years. Like for a while there, I didn't know if I was connected to her because it was like everything was Drew Brees. Like Drew Brees. I'm like, yeah, but like I'm with you, right? She just loves Drew Brees. And then McCaffrey, and then Jones. I'm a huge fan of Jones. And Andrew's a great player. And then Peyton, like one of my favorite. Yeah, you guys are good. You guys had some great picks, but hard to argue with that one.
You want 50-year-old senior citizen Drew Brees leading carrying the torch out to the Olympics.
Drew Brees and I play bingo every Thursday night with our AARP cards.
I love Drew Brees.
Norb.
As DJ Squabble said, it's Norb, myself, and Breeze, and Brady, and Rogers is all about to join us. We play with our AARP cards.
Hey, whatever happened to the 3 best players in their position? Tyreek Hill, Alvin Kamara, and Travis Kelce.
All I keep thinking about is how did some of those guys show up in the Super Bowl recently? So a lot of it is what did you do for me lately? So yeah, that's
Mahomes brought them there, right?
And what did he do for me lately? That's right, he gave me a Super Bowl that wasn't fun to watch.
I guess that's my fault.
You guys are so much fun, man. Seriously, you guys are a blast.
See you guys next time.
The only young people I love more than you guys are my own kids, man. You guys are great. The other group's great. And I gotta tell you, because we're gonna close the show kind of quickly, so I'm not gonna go around the horn individually. But I just want to thank you guys. But I'm going to close. This will be the only time that I close with the intro. And the other guys, your names will be inserted. Jonah and BJ. I've already got you guys ready to go. I just didn't have time to enter it and render it in, and we'll continue to evolve that open as well. But really excited that we get to do this originally. But I'm so thankful for how hard you guys worked during the week, and get prepared. And the last minute, I throw this on you today, and you did a great job with it. So hey, I know there's other shows out there. They may have 100,000 people. They may have 1 million people. They're not having as much fun as I'm having right now. I'll guarantee you that. Like seriously, there's nobody on YouTube having as much fun as I'm having right now working with you guys. Like it's awesome. It's flat out awesome. Never thought I'd be doing this in a million years. So thankful for you guys. Rain, it started with you. Sky High, in fact, you jump on. I ask you to help me with some audio and stuff for 10 minutes. It turns into 2 hours today. You're great. Jonah, coming on, doing your thing. It's just fantastic. I know it's something you have been wanting to do. So I'm glad you're able to do it. And BJ, man, you're blowing me away. You just blow me away. It's very, very cool. All right. So with that, guys, thank you. Make sure you stick around for just a minute. I'll talk to you in a second. I'm going to prepare to bring up the final piece. And again, I want to thank everybody for watching. If you stuck with us through one show, appreciate it. If you stuck with us through two of the shows, that's even better. But these guys are working so hard that they deserve it. It's not about me, it's about them. As I like to tell guys all the time, it's about living your life one play at a time. And so as I get ready to bring up the video here, that is the close. We'll see you next time in the huddle.
Go Hawks.